X-Men the Animated Series Fast Forces review coming right up. Mr. Clicks Flicks is brought to you by Lucky Dice Cafe out of Huntsville, Alabama, home of the ROC. No matter if you're in the United States or around the world, Lucky Dice Cafe has the winning roll for all your gaming needs. You can visit them at luckydicecafe.com or on their Facebook page using the link found in the description of this video. Mr. Clicks Flicks is also brought to you by trollandtoad.com, one of the largest online gaming retailers. Use the promo code Mr. Clicks Flicks for 5% off your Heroclix order today. Alright guys, so today we are taking a look at the 6 figures from the X-Men the Animated Series, the Dark Phoenix Saga, Fast Forces. So for those of you guys that don't know what a Fast Forces is, generally it's a set that accompanies a main set drop, and there's 6 figures in it. Generally, there could be 7, could be 5, just depends on what else is coming with it. But generally it's 6. It generally has to do with the theme, and while the sculpts may be the same as what's in the main set, the dials are always different. So in this one, the theme was obviously the X-Men themselves, so we're going to go ahead and take a look at what each of them do, and then I'll let you know if this is a buy or not. So we're just going to go in numerical order. So number 001 of the Fast Forces is Wolverine, and we're going to go ahead and get that focused up so that we can read it. Alright, so Wolverine, like I said, it's the same sculpt. You can see him right there on the screen. He has the Weapon X, X-Men, and Animal keywords. He has improved movement, ignores hindering terrain. He has one trait, which is called Hunted and On the Run. Friendly characters that are adjacent or have the X-Men keyword can use combat reflexes when attacked by characters with the giant-sized or colossal-sized damage symbol. So that's pretty important because in this set, as we know, all the boosters came with a colossal or giant-sized figure. So people are going to be running them a lot right now. And this guy gives you a bonus of combat reflexes if you're either adjacent to him or anywhere on the board if you have the X-Men keyword. So that is awesome. That's really good there. And then the special on his movement is Charge and Flurry. Both of those powers are good. They're especially good whenever you put them together. He has 2 different point values, 70 points and 50 points. And X-Men team ability. He starts off at the 70-point line with a 9 movement with that special, 11 attack, blades, claws, fangs, 17 defense, invulnerability, and indomitability, 3 damage. Now it's important to note that he is friendly to himself, right? That's how that's phrased. Let's take one last look. Friendly characters, yep, not other friendly characters. So he does get combat reflexes for himself. So that's basically traded, which is good. Which gets him up to a 19 if a Colossal's attacking him. You don't really lose anything by going to the 50-point line other than that you lose invuln for toughness and 1 movement. So if that's that important to you, spend the extra 20 points. Otherwise, I would say save that 20 points for something else and run him at 50 points. He's got 2 clicks of regen right there at the end of his dial, and this is pretty good. I think 50 points for whole team combat reflexes is pretty good. And you'll notice that is basically the theme of this set. So next up is number 002, Rogue. So there she is right there. And we're going to take a look at her card. She has the same trait, which is Hunted on the Run. However, there's a difference. Her special is she hands out toughness to characters that are adjacent to her have the X-Men keyword, and they're being attacked by giant or colossal-sized figures. So basically a whole team's worth of toughness if you wanted to do that. She has a special on her defense, which is invulnerability and willpower. She has 2 different point lines. One is 50 points, the other is 70. And she has a 0 range with the X-Men team ability. She's got a 9 movement with charge and the flight ability, 11 attack with super strength, 18 defense with that special, and 3 damage on the 70-point line. And then at the 50-point line, she's got all the same powers except her attack and defense drop 1. Now, losing 1 on both of those stats, I feel like it might be worth going up to the 70-point line. However, I do feel like this is probably the weakest one out of this starter set because there's a figure in the main set that gives also toughness, plus she gives TK and has the flight ability. And she's only 50 points, so I would pretty much use her instead of this one. But still, if you only have the Fast Forces, this isn't a terrible rogue. But I'd definitely go 70 instead of 50. Next up, we have Beast. He has the X-Men, Animal, and Scientist keywords. He has a trait, which is the Hunted and on the Run, and he hands out super senses. So we're seeing that these are very defensive dials here. So super senses is fabulous, and then special on his defense, combat reflexes, and defend. So he has 2-point lines also, 50 points and 70 points. Starts off at 70 points with a 9 movement with charge, 11 attack quake, 18 defense with that special, and indomitability, 3 damage. He also has the X-Men team ability, and I like him actually. It's 50 points. I know I just complained about Rogue losing 2 stats, but it was attack and defense. I feel like losing 1 off your movement isn't quite as bad, and he keeps that relatively high defense. And at 50 points, I feel like he's really worth it to give your whole team super senses, basically. If you're running X-Men theme team, which is what I would suggest with these guys, especially if you just own the Fast Forces, that's what you're always going to be running. To give a whole team super senses, even if you think there's a half chance that you're going to run into a figure that's colossal or giant, 50 points is worth that for an entire team. And he's actually not bad. The charge quake, 3 damage isn't bad. And then you see there, as he gets lower on style, he gets perplex. So yeah, this is definitely a great one in here. Next up we have Storm. She is number 004 in the set. She has Morlocks, X-Men, and Deity keyword. She hands out the Mystics team ability, and when they're being attacked by giant and colossals. So Mystics, if you don't know, when you get attacked and you take damage, you take 1 penetrating damage. The attacker takes 1 penetrating damage. So that's pretty good. I feel like this is sort of like Rogue, where it's a good power, but it's not as good as it could be. But this is definitely, I think she's better than Rogue, though. And then special on her movement is Running Shot and Sidestep. She, again, has 2 different point lines, 70 points and 50 points. Whoops. Has the X-Men team ability, 7 range, dual target, so this is our first ranged character. So that does give her a slight leg up, again, on Rogue. Starting off at 70 points, she has an 8 movement with that special, 11 attack, energy explosion, 17 defense with energy shield deflection, 3 damage with leadership. At the 50-point line, you only lose 1 stat, which is 1 to that attack value. I feel like the 50 points, again, is where it's at. Wolverine could be your main attacker. That 10 attacks, not too bad, especially for a 50-point figure. However, if you're desperately looking for that 11, that 20 points isn't terrible. But yeah, she's definitely pretty decent, but her that trait is probably the second from the bottom for me. Next up, we have Gambit, number 005 in the set. This one's really good. He has probability control when attacked by characters with giant or colossal. So basically, you have a whole team prob, which is fantastic. And then he also has on his special, on his movement, Force Blast, Running Shot, Stealth. And he has improved movement, ignores hindering terrain, so you can make really good use out of that stealth. Nothing bothers me quite as much as a character with stealth and no improved movement. So he's got 2 different point lines, 70 points and 50 points, has a 6 range dual target. At 70 points, starts off with an 8 movement with that special, 11 attack with Psychic Blast, 17 defense with combat reflexes and indomitability, 3 damage with enhancement. And then at 50 points, you're just shifting combat reflexes to toughness and the 11 attack to a 10. This is one I would say go with the 70-point line if you can, just because the combat reflexes with stealth I think is a really good combination, because basically unless they have improved targeting, he's getting his 19 defense if you're smart about your positioning. But if you don't have the points to spare, the 50-point line is definitely pretty good. And the enhancement will help out characters like Storm and the last figure that we're going to look at, which is Jubilee, because they're range-based. So Jubilee is the last one in this set. She's number 006. She has the Generation X and X-Men keywords, and her trait is Shape Change, which is good. I would say hers and Beast's are the 2 strongest ones between the 2 of them, giving you Shape Change and super senses against colossal or giant figures, and that's all she has going on. She's got 2 different point lines, 35 points and 20 points. She does start off with a 4 range and at 35 points, 7 movement with sidestep, 10 attack, but with pulse wave, 17 defense with energy shield deflection and 1 damage. And then if you start off at 20 points, it's a 6 movement with stealth, 9 attack with incapacitate, 17 defense with willpower, and 1 damage with range combat expert X-Men team ability. It depends on who you're running. If you don't have any TK on your team, I would say run her at 20 points. And then she has willpower, so she's gonna be able to take those tokens for theme probs if you need to. If you didn't run Gambit, and that incap's not bad, and she's able to deal 3 damage with the range combat expert. So to me, that's worth it to just do the 20 points, and it's somebody to use the X-Men team ability. The shape change to me definitely is what makes her really worth it. So the best figures in this one to me, and it would depend. You guys let me know how you would rank these in the comments below. To me, far and away, the best 2 are Beast and Jubilee, as they give out super senses for Beast and shape change for Jubilee. The next bracket would be Wolverine and Gambit, as Wolverine gives out combat reflexes and Gambit gives out probability control. And then in your bottom tier, and they're bottom tier, but that doesn't mean they're good. It's just, you know, you gotta rank things on YouTube. So you have Storm handing out Mystic's team ability and Rogue handing out toughness. Both of these are good, but to me they're not nearly as good as what the other 4 characters represent. So overall, I would say just for Beast and Jubilee alone, the set's worth it. Wolverine and Gambit will see a lot of play, and then if you want to use a flyer or something like that, this actually isn't a bad Storm. This Rogue isn't bad, although I like the main set version better. And like I said, her special, pretty much Jean Grey from the main set has a better use of that, because the Jean Grey also has TK and the toughness special. So I guess basically how you'd look at it is, if you're not running Jean Grey, run Jubilee at 20. If you are running Jean Grey, run Jubilee at 35. That might be a good way to look at it for you guys. So you guys let me know in the comments below what you think of this starter set, or Fast Forces. Starter sets are different. That'll be a different video. But let me know in the comments below what you guys think of this Fast Forces set. Let me know if you got this or didn't get it, and why. And if you guys want to support the channel, make sure to check out my Patreon page. I'm putting some cool stuff up for the month of October on that. So please check it out at patreon.com/MrClicksFlix. Pick out the monthly subscription that suits you, and every little bit does help the channel, so thank you for that. That's all I have for you guys today. As always, please remember that it's only critical miss if you don't have probability control.